Okay, here we are in Notes 22. We're going to look at coordinate plane basics. As we approach our sections with lines and slopes, we need to be really familiar with the rectangular coordinate system. Let's start by introducing it. Now, first of all, this is called the rectangular coordinate system. And the x-axis is the one that runs left to right. So this is our x-axis, and I'll highlight it over here. And this is our y-axis, the one that runs up and down. Each of the four sections is called a quadrant, and the quadrants are numbered this way. Coordinate 1, coordinate 2, coordinate 3, coordinate 4. You need to be familiar with that and be able to identify the coordinate that any particular point falls in. Another thing that's very important to know is that 0, because each axis is really a number line, the x-axis runs left and right, and 0 is here in the center, and the y-axis runs up and down to it starts at the negatives at the bottom and heads up toward the top. They each go to infinity in every direction. But one very important point is 0. It is the 0 on the x-axis and the y-axis, and his name is the origin. It's actually the point 0, 0. All right, in the first quadrant, both the x and the y are 0. Every point is made up of an x and a y coordinate. In quadrant 2, the x is negative and the y is negative. See how the x part is negative and the y is positive. In the third coordinate, both the x and the y are negative. See, x is negative, y is negative. And in the fourth quadrant, the x values are positive and the y values are negative. I think it's easiest to just go ahead and jump right into it and actually plot some points. So here is another rectangular coordinate system. And we're going to plot each one of these points, and then we're going to state the quadrant that each one is located on or in. Now let's start with the point or letter A up here. We're going to plot the point 6, 5. So we'll start on the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the x is 6. And after you get to the x of 6, you're going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is point A, or the point 6, 5. What quadrant is that point in? That is in quadrant 1. Let's plot the point B. You go to where x is 0. Now see, you always find the x first. And then, according to the sign on the y, if it's positive, you go up from that point. If it's a negative y value, like down here in E, you'd go down for it, but we'll get to that. Let's start off slow. So point B, 0 is where the x is, and I'm going to go up 3 from there. This is the point 0, 3. Now, he's not actually in a quadrant. He's actually on the y-axis. Let's plot the point negative 6 and 3. This is the point negative 6 and 3. What quadrant would that one be considered to be in? 2 is correct. So quadrant 2. Let's plot the point negative 8, you do the x first, and 0. That is the point negative 8 and 0. Now, he's not actually in a quadrant either, is he? No, he sits on the x-axis. Remember, the one that runs left and right is our x-axis, and the one that runs up and down is our y-axis. Let's plot another point. Letter E, -3 on the x-axis and then down to -4. This is the point -3, -4. What quadrant is he in? 1, 2, 3. He's in the third. Okay, 5/2. How do you find that? You do long division. 2 divided into 5 is actually 2. Now, how do you find 2.5 on this? Well, 2.5 is halfway between 2 and 3, isn't it? So I'm going to go to 2.5. So here he is. And then down 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the point 5/2, -3. What quadrant is that in? The fourth is correct. -10/3. Again, I'm going to convert them to the decimal version so I can actually place them on the rectangular coordinate system. That would be -3.3 repeated, and the 9/2 is going to be 4.5. By converting them to decimal or fraction, I can locate them a little bit easier, and all I did was do long division. Let's place them. -3.3. Well, -3.3 is a little less than half, so about there. And from there, I'm going to go up 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. This is the point -10/3 and 9/2. And we could have labeled them with the letter. Oh, by the way, what quadrant is that point in? 2 is correct. Okay, we've introduced our rectangular coordinate system. Let's find some points and go the other direction. They want us to name the ordered pair and that is shown on the coordinate plane. And I'm going to label them out to the side. Letter A, what is that point? To find it, you go over to A. Here he is. That is at 5 on the x-axis and up 1. So the point is 5, 1, and it is in quadrant 1 if we wanted to identify that. They didn't ask us to do it this time, but we'll say it because we can. B, here's B. It is the point, let's see, how do I get there? Go to the x's first. -2 and then up 4. So -2 and 4. Pause the video and find C. Okay, to find C, you went on the x-axis and you went all the way back to -5 and then down 1. So -5, -1. Letter D. And again, feel free to pause the video anytime that you want to do one, okay? Letter D. Here he is. We're going to go to the x first. It's at 3, and then we went down 2. So 3, -2. Let's do letter E. Here he is. Start at 0 on the x-axis and go down 5. 0, -5. Remember, to plot these points, you always locate it on the x-axis first. Letter F. We go to 4 on the x-axis and then we don't move, so it's 4, 0. All right. I think we have time to introduce one of these, and then we'll save the others for this second video. Or actually, let's do all 3 of them on the video. I'll see you in a little bit.